Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Unit Review. Today we're going to be reviewing just Raiden Shoguns. Something I've noticed while doing the series is that a lot of people seem to really like this character. So you know what, I thought I'd dedicate a whole episode to her just so we can see who in the community has the #1 Raiden Shogun. If you would like to submit your own character for videos like these, the steps will be in the description below. Without further ado though, let's get into the video. First Raiden Shogun review we're going to do is for Kell. They have a level 90 Raiden Shogun, 17k attack, 0 elemental mastery. I'm not sure if that's lucky or unlucky. Weapon is going to be the engulfing lightning. Okay, a bit of a whale weapon, but we appreciate it. This is her best in slot for sure. Artifacts are going to be 4-piece emblem, as I'm sure we'll see on every single Raiden Shogun today. Constellation is 3. Wow, so like a mini whale here. C3 is a bit expensive, but you know. And then talents are going to be 10, 10, 10. Pretty impressive stuff here on the Raiden Shogun. Let's see some of these artifacts. What 4-piece emblem are we working with? So far, you're pretty perfect. I mean, perfect weapon, perfect talents. Other than, I guess, you really don't need to upgrade the normal attack. I mean, there's no feasible reason to do that, but I guess if you want to have the perfect Raiden Shogun, hey, why not? Throw everything you want into your normal attack. Let's see the artifacts though. This is where it matters. Pretty good flower, 1 defense, but other than that, you got a ton of crit rate. You got 13 crit rate on there, 1 crit damage, not terrible. Feather, oh my gosh, that's 30 crit value. Wait, no, not 30 crit value, 30 crit damage. And then like 40 crit value because you had the crit rate onto there. Pretty good piece. Unfortunately, you do have 2 dead stats on there though. Next up, the Sands. 17 crit damage, 7 crit rate. Unfortunately, 2 flat attack rolls. Ooh, that's not great. But you know what? You got at least 30 CV on all these pieces so far. So I'd say it's pretty good. You do have the choice, of course, of running attack sands because you are running engulfing lightning as well. And this gives a lot of recharge as it is, but energy recharge works just as fine as well. The goblet, attack goblet, okay, good choice. I think attack is just generally better for Raiden because you're going to get a lot of electro damage bonus from her passive. 10 crit rate, 14 crit damage, 11 recharge. This is what I would say would be the most solid piece so far because you have an extra recharge roll. And lastly, the hat is pretty damn perfect. 3 crit damage rolls, 1 recharge roll. Yeah, another really good piece. Let's see the split here. I imagine it's going to be pretty insane. Yeah, 71-51 is really good for a Raiden Shogun. Plus nearly 300 recharge. I mean, that's pretty insane. There are a lot of dead stats on a lot of these pieces, which I do notice. Like, there's at least 2 dead stats on every single piece, which probably brings you down just a little bit from perfect. But other than that, I would say this is a near perfect Raiden Shogun. The C2 was obviously nice, and you'll probably crush anything in the game with it. But obviously, we don't take constellations into consideration when we're doing our reviews, just to keep things on a fair basis. Overall though, I'm going to give you a very, very high 9.6 out of 10. Let's move on to the next Raiden. Next up, we have 2 different symbols, which I don't know what language that's from, and I'm not going to try to guess. But anyways, Raiden Shogun. Level 89, 1900 attack, 19 EM, 1000 defense. Oh no. Weapon, the catch? Okay, I feel like today we're probably going to see either a lot of catches and a lot of engulfing lightnings. Generally, Raiden's best in slot, we all know this. What a crazy weapon this is. And you are 5'd, that's some dedication. 4-piece emblem, and you got the new set goblet. Okay, that's cool. Constellation, 0, and talents are 188. You know what? I actually appreciate that you didn't level the normal attack because I feel like I have to state with every single Raiden, you don't need to level the normal attack. Finally, somebody who is not delusional enough to level up the normal attack. Anyways, let's check out some of these artifacts. I'm interested to see what you have here. The goblet, attack, good choice. Really good attack goblet too. It's too bad they got 1 flat attack. If that flat attack went into recharge or basically any of the bottom 3 stats, it would be considered a god piece. The hat, ooh, 15 crit rate. Unfortunately, there is 3 dead stats on there, but 15 crit rate is still nuts. Flower is also really nutty, man. Oh my goodness, 30 crit damage plus 7 crit rate. That's almost a 50 CV piece. That's really, really nice. Unfortunately, 2 defense, a little suboptimal. Other than that though, it's a really nice piece. Feather is definitely worse than the last 3 pieces we've seen. It did roll into crit 4 times, but every single crit rate and damage roll was like low. 8.6 I think is like the lowest you can get with 2 crit rate rolls. It is a decent piece though, it's definitely not bad. And lastly, we're gonna look at the sands, which I would say is probably the worst piece so far. You only have 10 crit rate. 16 recharge is nice, I'll give you that. But also, I'd like to point out that you have 2 attack percent pieces, which is just not necessary. You either run recharge there, or you run electro damage bonus on the goblet, either one of the two. Because having 2 attack percent is going to give you 2,000 attack, but it really doesn't balance out those substats as well as you would like. I'd recommend going for recharge sands, but I guess we'll check your split first. 6175 is really good. 223 recharge. Yeah, I'd recommend going for recharge sands. If you can get Raiden Shogun's recharge up to like 300, 280. I mean, she can do some crazy numbers the higher you get that recharge. So I'd recommend going for a recharge sands instead of an attack sands. Overall, though, it's a pretty decent Raiden. I like it. You got pretty good talents. We'll say perfect weapon. And it's a pretty decent artifacts. A couple dud stats, but the flower was pretty insane. So was the hat. I'm going to give you a very, very high 9 out of 10. Let's move on to the next Raiden. Next up here, we have Kabuki, and we're going to be reviewing their level 80 Shogun this time, not level 90. Is ascended though. 1400 attack, not too much defense, good. Elemental Mastery is 44, not too many EM rolls. You're going to be running the Catch R1, only level 80, however. You'd like to see that level 90, maybe R5 too if you have the dedication for it, but you know, not everybody does, which is fair because it's a pain. Artifacts are 2-piece Glad and a bunch of off pieces. Okay, maybe we're prioritizing substats? I don't know. Constellation is 0 and talents are 497. You got the priority a little backwards there. Definitely want to upgrade that burst before you upgrade the E. If you just plan to upgrade both anyways, it doesn't really matter. Artifacts, however, don't know about this. I mean, what do you got here? You got a Wanderer's Troop Sands, which is actually pretty decent. It's not a bad Sands, to be completely honest. It's a really good recharge Sands. You miss crit stats a lot, but you got a lot of attack and a lot of EM, so it's not terrible, I guess. Still, though, I don't know if it justifies not running 4 emblem. The goblet, that's a little copium. I mean, it can definitely be improved. 21 crit damage isn't too bad. 16 recharge is nice. 2 dead stats in the middle, though. Not too great. The hat, a lot of recharge on the hat. Ton of recharge, but I'm pretty sure you can't run a crit damage hat, right? Because you're not going to have enough crit rate. Unless you have one of these pieces that just has a ton of crit rate. Because the only crit rate I've seen from your pieces so far is this one with 7%. And then this one has 5%. So your crit rate's going to be really low. Your flower, yeah, again, only 3 crit rate, but 28 recharge. Oh my gosh. I think that's the most recharge I've ever seen on a piece in my lifetime. The feather, 18 recharge. Are you just prioritizing recharge? Because all these pieces have high recharge for the most part. This one has 16, 20, 28, and 18. And then this one doesn't have any, unfortunately, but it's because it's a recharge sand. So it seems you're just prioritizing recharge completely and like just getting rid of every other stat you could think of in this build. Interesting. Okay. What's your split? Yeah, it's terrible as we suspected. And oh my goodness, 310 recharge. See, the problem is that, yeah, this is good, but you can't take advantage of all that recharge because you don't have emblem. And when you don't have emblem, getting all that recharge is almost pointless. Like, yeah, you get a lot of electro damage bonus from the Raiden passive effect, but generally, the reason you would want to get so much recharge, like 300%, is because you get that converted to bonus damage when you use emblem. Because we're not on emblem, the recharge or the high recharge becomes a lot more useless. I mean, you do have a viable build. Like, you can run this and probably do decent enough damage and like Spiral Abyss and stuff, but it's not going to be as good in like, you know, floor 12 and floor 11. However, you would like to see a lot more crit rate, preferably like to see 4 emblem. However, your talents are still pretty decent, and you do have a Rebesson slot, although it's not maxed out. So we're going to give you a pretty decent 7 out of 10. Let's move on to the next build. Next up, we have Kova, level 90 Raiden, 2.2k attack. Okay, that's most definitely double attack piece then, which is fine, but I'm not sure how optimal it is. Weapon is going to be Engulfing Lightning. Okay, Whale Weapon, I see you. Artifacts are 4-piece emblem. Okay, I rate it. Constellation. Oh, another whale, another C3. What's with everybody getting C3 Raidens? We saw that with the first Raiden, and now we're seeing it with the third Raiden as well. Bit of an odd choice, but I rate it. Talents are 10, 10, and then 4 on the normal attack. You know, if you want a perfect score, you gotta get 10 on the normal attack. No, I'm just kidding. You don't need to do that. But 10, 10 on the important talents. Very good stuff. Artifacts, let's see here. So I imagine you're probably running double attack because you have way too much here and you're running engulfing lightning. I don't think there's any other way. Attack goblet, yep. 2 flat stats, a little unfortunate, but other than that, it's a very, very solid piece. The sands, yeah, okay, it is double attack. To be honest, for an off piece, it's not that great, to be honest. Oh, wait, oh my gosh, I read that backwards. Crit rate is 17%, and crit damage is 5.4. Wait, what? That's actually such a mind trick because usually when you get 2 min crit rate rolls, it's 5.4, and I think 2 or 3 min crit damage rolls is 7.9. So that's actually really weird, but that's still a crazy sands actually. 17 crit rate is not easy to get, but unfortunately 2 dead stats on the bottom. It's fine. The feather, that's pretty decent. 1 roll into each. It's like the most balanced feather you'll ever see. 1 recharge, 1 attack, 1 crit rate, 1 crit damage. All high rolls too. Very balanced piece there. Flower, this one I would say falls off a tiny bit. I mean, 2 min crit damage, 1 flat defense, 1 crit rate, 1 recharge. The recharge roll is high, but other than that, I wouldn't say it's a great piece for late game. Hat is pretty good. 7 crit rate, 20 recharge is pretty nutty, I'm not gonna lie. Unfortunately, you do have 2 dead stats there though, which is a little unfortunate. Other than that though, very solid piece. Yeah, all around, these pieces are all good. Let's see your split. 50, 172, I feel like 50 is a little low because you don't have the catch. If the catch, you get an extra 12%. For more optimal Shogun, I think you'd probably want to go crit rate hat here just to get more frequent hits with your, you know, really high crit damage. Recharge is 253, that's pretty decent. And electro damage bonus, we're not able to see because Raiden's passive only activates when she's on the field. So overall, I'd say it's a decent build. Again, I don't know the exact conversion of, you know, recharge to electro damage bonus, but I want to say that you probably want to go either electro damage bonus goblet or recharge sands. I feel like it's just like a smidge more optimal. I don't think 2 attack is terrible because 2.2k attack is still pretty nuts, to be honest. But I feel like 300 recharge Raiden is even more nuts because with that recharge, you get more burst damage, you get more electro damage. So I feel like recharge is just the more optimal pick for a sands. However, this one is still pretty nuts with 17 crit rate, so we'll say it's decent. Overall, it's a really good Raiden. You got 2 perfect talents. You do have the C3, but we don't take constellations into account. And you got a whale weapon, but it's a good one nonetheless. And some good artifacts. So we're going to give this Raiden a very high tier 9.4 out of 10. Let's move on to the next build. Next up here, we have Vicky, and we're going to be reviewing another level 90 Shogun. 105 EM, 1400 attack, I feel like is a smidge low. Weapon is going to be Staff of the Scarlet Sands. Interesting, you don't usually see this on Raiden. I don't know how particularly good this is for her. However, it does have 44% crit rate as a bonus attribute, so it's going to be a good weapon on whoever you put it on, regardless, just because of that. Don't know about this bonus effect though. I don't think it matters too much for Raiden Shogun. Obviously the extra attack and EM is nice, but I don't think it's as big as the engulfing lightning or catch passive effect. Artifact set is going to be the 4-piece emblem. Constellation is 0, and talents are 8, 9, 10. Another level up normal attack. Another wasted like 100 of the shrine books. That's okay. You do you. You want to have the perfect Shogun? Go ahead. Artifacts, let's see here. Goblet is going to be electro damage bonus. Interesting. 2 flat stats, 1 EM, and 2 crit damage. Not terrible, but I feel like you definitely want to do attack percent here because your attack is only at 1400, which is a smidge low. If you are running recharge sands, then you get a lot of electro damage bonus from that as well. Let's see if you are. Okay, good. You are running recharge sands. It's a good recharge sands too. You got a lot of crit value on this one. Unfortunately, 2 dead stats, but other than that, it's a very good piece. Feather. Yeah, perfect substat feather. Very nice feather there. Yeah. Flower. This one's a little more suboptimal than the rest of the pieces, but it's not bad. You got 2 attack, 1 recharge, 2 crit damage. Preferably you'd want to see crit rate there. Crit rate replaces that flat attack and you got a perfect piece. We'll say it's decent though. And the hat is another perfect piece, my gosh. Unfortunately, you rolled a bunch of EM. I don't think Elemental Mastery is a bad stat for Raiden Shogun, but there definitely are some other better stats in the game for her. Recharge, crit rate, attack though, all good stats. Overall, I think this Raiden Shogun is going to need a lot more recharge. I guess we'll see with the stats though. Let's see the split. So you got a 73-191 split, which makes sense because you're running Staff of the Scarlet Sands. 234 recharge, which is actually higher than I thought it would be. I thought it'd be a lot lower because you don't have engulfing or catch. And then 46 electro damage bonus. So it's actually it's a really even Raiden. I didn't think you'd have all that much recharge, but now that I'm looking back at it, every one of these pieces has like a tiny bit of recharge in it. Besides this, which I honestly do think you should go attack percent here. The Staff of Scarlet Sands doesn't have that high of a base attack, but I guess you do get a bit of percent attack from the stacks here. So you know what? Electro damage bonus might actually be kind of based. You get a lot of attack from that. I don't know the exact numbers on it, but I think it's a decent amount. And when you're on the field, you probably bring this up to like at least, 1600, 1700. So you know what? This is a really good Raiden. I would like to see a tiny bit more recharge. Unfortunately, you can't really do that though without an engulfing. So it's fine. Electro damage bonus is good and the ratio is really good. Yeah, it's a pretty good Raiden. I don't think it's the most optimal version of her, but you know what? It's a unique build and I do like it. So we're going to give it a very solid 9 out of 10. Let's move on to the next build. Alright, for our final review today, we're going to be reviewing Quack, their level 80 Raiden Shogun. 1.1k attack is a little low, but 700 EM is a lot of EM. This has to be a Hyper Bloom Raiden then. Okay, Dragon's Bane? Wait, what? Dragon's Bane? Really? For Hyper Bloom? I feel like even Catch would be better. I mean, obviously the EM is really, really nice, but that passive effect just does nothing for her. This passive effect is essentially useless. You're really only using this weapon for the EM, and even a low base attack really doesn't help at all. That being said though, I actually don't know if there's any better EM based weapons that would be good for a build like this. Artifacts are going to be the 4-piece Gilded Dreams, which makes sense for an EM based Raiden Shogun. Constellation is 0 and talents are 8, 7. Interesting. Our very first Hyper Bloom trigger Raiden we've seen today. I actually wanted to see this build because it's a good one. Like, this can work really well with all the new Denjo reactions. So let's see here. I imagine we're just going to go full EM is my guess. Electro damage bonus. Really? Electro damage bonus? I mean, it's fine. It's a good cup too. Like, it's not a bad cup, but I'd imagine you just want to run full EM and just try to get to like 1000 EM to get as much reaction damage as possible. Electro damage bonus isn't bad, but I think EM is probably more optimal for your build. The hat is a 4-star. It's probably because you can't get a 5-star Elemental Mastery hat, which is just unfortunate. Not much you can do there. But you know what? Keep up the grind. Eventually, I'm sure you'll get one from this domain. The Sands is EM, and it's a really good Sands too. You got a lot of crit rate, crit damage, and a bit of EM. Very good Sands there. The Flower, 40 EM, 15 recharge. It's not terrible. 6 crit damage, 37 flat attack. I'd like to see more EM, more recharge there preferably, but it's not a bad piece. And the Feather is another really good piece actually. It's very evenly split. Let's see your crit ratio. It really doesn't matter when you're running Aggravate / Hyper Bloom trigger. 180 recharge, pretty good. 46 electro damage bonus. I'd honestly want to say 0 here and then see 1000 EM, or maybe a little lower than 1000, but you know what I mean. I don't know if this is the best weapon you can run for her. I feel like there's another better EM-based polearm in the game, but I can't say for sure because I don't really use many EM-based polearms when I'm playing the game. But if anybody knows in the comments down below, make sure to let me know if there's a better weapon than this for, EM-based Raiden, or really any EM-based polearm, because I feel like there has to be a more optimal weapon than Dragon's Bane in the game. Artifacts, however, are really good. I would like to see something higher than a purple, and I would also like to see an EM goblet, but, EM goblets are like the rarest thing in the entire game, so I don't blame you for not having one. Your talents are really good as well. I mean, there's really not much to critique about this build. I think you know what you're doing. You're building a Raiden in a certain way, and a unique way at that, so I am going to give you a very solid 8 out of 10. Alright, and that is going to be the end of our video for today. Who do you think had the best Raiden Shogun in the video? Make sure to let me know down in the comments below. With that all being said though, that is going to be the end of our video for today. If you guys enjoyed this video and you want to see more in the future, please consider subscribing or leaving a like down below. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.